What is up, team, and welcome back to Operation D.A.R.T. Here on this channel we'll be going over another Digimon deck profile, and today we got Magnamon X. Thank you for all you guys who've been supporting the channel, subscribing, liking. If you haven't done so and you enjoy Digimon content, why not? Go ahead and subscribe, it'll help us out a lot. With that being said, let's get on to the Digimon profile. Alright, so let's get started though with our babies, and then we'll jump to our rookies. Alright, so pretty much we're doing a split 3-2. We're going 3 Upamon. He has the inheritable of 1 attacking. If your opponent has Digimon with no Digivolution cards, you draw 1. And then 2 of the Demi Vmons, also with inheritable, says 1 attacking once per turn. If your Digimon has jamming, draw 1. So pretty much we're using this to swing with jamming Vmon, which is in here. And then this one, if we get lucky and they try to put some pressure on us by putting some Digimon with no Digivolutions, we get to draw as well. So draw, 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 right? That's our babies, pretty simple. Alright, then let's jump on to our rookies, level 3s. We are running 4 of the jamming Vmon. Pretty much, who doesn't like to swing at security with jamming? It'll survive. And then also you can play it off as if you're Flame Dramon and you're swinging, you're dying, you die to the Purge, and you have a Fire Rocket, you're still swinging with the you're still checking the next check with Vmon and getting the jamming. So that's always a really good solid play. And then we're doing 4 of the BT8 Searcher Vmons. This one tells us to reveal the top 4 cards of our deck, and then we get to get a 2-color card from among them, and the rest to the bottom of the library or deck. Which means that not only 2-color Digimon, but we can get 2-color options as well. So this one's going to help us get our Mega Def or any armor that we're missing. We can get Magnamon X and any other of the armors. So this really helps get a lot of our pieces out if we're still looking for them. And then so does this one. This is the starter deck 9 Vmon. We're running 3 of these guys, and he says reveal the top 3 cards, add 1 with freeness traits, and then the rest go to the bottom. So pretty much everything in this deck is free except, I want to say, 3 to 4 cards. Unfortunately, I don't think, Magnamon X is not a free trait, or a couple of the other spice cards that we do have in our deck. But, you know, for that, we can always search it with this one. That's why I have this at 3, because, you know, it doesn't hit as much with all the cards in our deck. But to finish it off, we got 2 Vmons from EX1 with the inheritable of when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, you gain 1. And that always works out a good bit when you're playing Magnamon. If you want to play Magnamon, then unsuspend, you get, if you armor purged and then this is your Vmon that you have left, you Digivolve into Magnamon, which then lets you actually Digivolve him for 2 instead of 3 because you're gaining the 1 back. So that's that helps with that. That's why I got him there. And then 1 spicy starter 8 Vmon, which the main effect doesn't help because we don't have all force here, but if we did, if an opponent of ours has a level 6 or higher on the field, we could warp Digivolve into alt force with this guy. But we play him because of his inherited. When attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards, you draw 1. So again, more draws. You can really combine this with the babies and stuff and get your draw power. But that's it for our level 3s. Nothing but Vmon, baby. Let's go. Alright, so next, let's talk about our champs, our level 4s. We're running 3 of the Flame Dramons. And Flame Dramon says it can Digivolve over Vmon for 2. And then it has Armor Purge, which says when this Digimon would be deleted, you may trash the top card of this Digimon to prevent the deletion. And then, when attacking, this Digimon gains 3k. So pretty much you get an 8-beater, and if you hit it with Fire Rocket, you get to check 2 most of the time. And if not, you want to have jamming Vmon, like I said, and you will continue the swing and get that second check with jamming. Alright, so this is pretty much your go-to there. If possible, you don't want to really Digivolve on top of him, but this is a good to-go move. Alright, so we're going with that. And then we're running 4 of the Lydramons. This is our blue-green sources that we really need for our Megadeth plays if we need to play removal. So Lydramon says he digivolves over Vmon for 2. Pretty much all our armors are going to digivolve for a little bit cheaper, maybe 1 or 2 memory cheaper. And then he has armor purge as well. And when digivolving, you may suspend one of your opponent's level 4 or lower. Man, I love this because I usually, if I'm playing a mirror match, you want to just suspend their Magnamon so they can't do anything. No blocking. Or if they have a pesky memory denier, then like a Midoki or something, you get to digivolve and swing over that sucker and get him out of the way. So yeah, this is really a really good Digimon. I really enjoy this because you can always get rid of some threats. You can kind of slow down and Pilgrimon if they're trying to get their DNA the next turn. They have like their Vmon out or something like that, or any of their level 4s. You can suspend them and whack over them. So yeah, I'm running him for sure at 4 of. Alright, then we're definitely running 4 of the boy himself, Magnamon. So Magnamon digivolves over Vmon for 3, and as far as that goes, oh my bad about that, guys. He can digivolve. Oh, he has a one effect when digivolving unsuspend this Digimon, and it gets 2k DP until the end of your opponent's next turn for each Digimon with armor in its traits in your trash. So pretty much if you have 2 of the Lydramon, you got a Lydramon, you got a Flamedramon in trash, pretty much your Magnamon's going to become a 11k blocker or beyond. You know what I'm saying? And if you digivolve on top of Magnamon with your Magnamon X, you also still keep the buff to the end of your opponent's turn. So that makes Magnamon X a big wall and a big problem to get over. Alright, and then for one little spice, we're running 1 Lobomon, because who doesn't like to Lobomon for game, eh? So yes sir, that's our level 4s there. We're gonna be now moving on to our, let me leave this boy out here. We're gonna be moving on to our ultimates. Our ultimates, I got some spice here with that because here we're running only 2 level 5s, and I want to do either or of them, or maybe adding 1 more. So first of all, let's talk about Chimeramon. Chimeramon, man, this is a really good card. It DNA digivolves for 0 over any level 4, all colors, right? And it says when digivolving, you may place 1 card with level 5 or lower from your trash under this Digimon as this bottom Digivolution card. Then up to 4 of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1k for each Digimon or each color in this Digimon's sources, right? So yeah, for each color for this Digimon's colors, right? Yeah, for each color. Anyway, so you know, if you're digivolving with we're doing we get these 2 guys, we DNA digivolve them, we got 1, 2, 3 colors, and then if we tuck this under him, we got 4. So we'll be, 5 colors, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 colors. So we'll be minusing everything 5k. And then it also has another effect that says on your turn, when this Digimon is treated as having all of its colors in this Digivolution cards, while this Digimon has 4 or more colors, it gains 4k. So we're pretty much turning Chimeramon to a 12k beater and being able to swing over things if we get to minus something that's pretty beefy out there and is suspended, we'll be whacking over him. So that's that. And then we're doing 1 Shikaomon. So Shikaomon's also a DNA Digivolver, and it says it'll DNA Digivolve over a level 4 yellow and then a blue level 4. And then when digivolving, if you have 5 or fewer security cards, you recover 1. Then if you DNA digivolve, return 1 of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the number of security cards. So if you have 6, you're returning a level 6 and below. So that comes in really clutch, and that's why I opted to have 1 of 1, because this one comes in play when you're like negging the whole board, or you're negging something big and swinging over it, and then this one facilitates, you know, you're getting a recovery, you're getting removal out of this guy. And then he also has an inheritor. When your opponent's Digimon, when attacking one of your opponent's Digimon, gets minus 3k. So again, this one can also be trying to you Digivolve on top of him with Magnamon X, and then you're able to minus something 3k and maybe beat over it. So yeah, that's that for those two guys. Those are my, but what you guys think? Should I run 1 or maybe 2 of this and 2 of this? Or should I do 2 this and 1 this? Whatever, you guys let me know what you guys think about the ratio in that one. And then, so the big boss of the deck, we have 3 Magnamon X antibody. I don't run 4 because I find that I draw enough in this deck and I see him enough in this deck, and I can search for him as well. So I only run 3 of them. It comes out very often. I mean, I'm always having at least 2 of these guys every time I play. So he Digivolves for 4 over Magnamon, and then on your opponent's turn, when one of your opponent's Digimon attacks, if a card with armor in its in armor form in its traits or X antibodies in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may switch the target of the attack to this Digimon. So if your opponent's swinging with anything, you can redirect the attack to this, and hopefully this is stronger than that Digimon and will kill it. And then it says, all turns, when this Digimon will be deleted, you may place the top card of this Digimon on top of your security stack face down to prevent deletion. So pretty much you're getting 2 armor purges, so to speak, when you have when you're going over your Magnamon. So there you go. So pretty much, you know, you get this guy, you got a couple of armors out in the trash, you Digivolve to Magnamon, he's beefed up, it's still your turn, and then you go to Magnamon X. Now you have 2 big walls to get through, and make your opponent's turn a lot more difficult and awkward, right? So that's pretty much the play here. We're trying to control the crackback by trying to get them, rush them down as much as you can, and if they're already getting ready for their setup, you want to stop them and have something in the hatch, so you're able to finish out the game after that. So that's pretty much it. I only run 3, like I said. I see him enough, he's pretty good, and that's that for that. So those are the Digimon. Now let's talk real quick about our options, and then we'll get to our tamers. So we'll go first, and we'll talk about our offensive option. We're running 3 Fire Rockets. Fire Rocket says, while this Digimon has while you have a Digimon with armor in its armor form in its traits in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. So you could pretty much use this with any of your armors. All right, doesn't matter if it has red or not. And then it says, on your main phase, if you have 2 or more colors, a Digimon 2 or more colors, it gains security +1. So pretty much we're trying to get this guy to 8k, then beefing him up and getting a couple of swings at security, trying to rush him down. So that's the play there. You can use any of your armors really, because remember, even if you die on that second check, you're just armor purging. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a big deal. To go along with some more armor stuff, we're talking about armor texture. Not a lot of people run this in this deck, but I find it useful in some cases where you really swing, your armor doesn't die, you need that extra swing. This facilitates that. It says, while you have a Digimon with armor form in its traits in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. On main, trash the top card of one of your Digimon with armor forms in its traits. Then you may Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon card from your hand with armor forms in its traits for its Digivolution cost. If you do so, unsuspend that Digimon. So again, if we're trying to get that last swing in, you know, Flame Dramon ends up living through that last security check. We got, you know, at least 2 or 3. We get to strip this off, and then we get to strip this off and then Digivolve into our other guy, Lydramon or whatever, and get our final swing in. So that's that. And then we have another armor, which this one is armor style card. We have Awakening of the Golden Knight, and this for 3 says, while you have a Digimon with armor, I forgot to talk. The inherited on this kind of sucks, so I didn't really go over it. But it says, security check. When it gets checked in security, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with blocker. So I mean, that works in certain scenarios against certain decks, but not. It's kind of always a dud, to be honest with you, especially in this current meta. So we'll go back to Awakening of the Golden Knight. While you have a Digimon with armor in its forms and its traits in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. Then on main, you may Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon with armor. One of your Digimon with armor forms and its traits into a Digimon card with Magnamon in its name, ignoring its Digivolution requirements, and without paying its memory costs. The Digimon that Digivolve with this effect can't have its DP reduced by your opponent's effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then in security, you return one card with Magnamon in its name from your trash to your hand. Add this card to your hand. So pretty much, we're going to also, like armor texture, we're going to be able to Digivolve on one of our armors and get to keep making more plays. At least with this one, I feel like this helps you Digivolve from Magnamon to Magnamon X for 3 instead of 4. And also you can do any of the armors. You can Digivolve Flamedramon, you can Digivolve Lydramon, and so on. So you can Digivolve, as long as you are armor in this traits, you can Digivolve into a Magnamon X antibody for 3. It says Digivolution cost. So you're not Digivolving for 4, you're Digivolving for 3, and then you're able to keep playing defensively if needed. And also having that effect where DP minus doesn't work against you is totally awesome, because I've had mirror matches where they'll bust out their Chimeramon and try to like neg the Magnamon, and you know, he's just too beefy and too strong to be doing that, especially because of the effect. So that's that for those options. Then we're gonna be talking about our removal sources. We're running 3 Mega Deaths. On main, suspend one of your Digimon, one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to their hand for 5, or if you check it in security, it activates the effect. So pretty much, like I said though, we want to kind of have Lydramon out or one of our tamers to be able to facilitate that play, which does come in handy, you know what I'm saying? Being able to just be at 3, maybe put your opponent at 2, and returns their big stack always is awesome. Or when they're swinging at security, you return their stuff, also really good. And then let's talk about another defensive option. We have one of Ice Wall, and Ice Wall is always great, especially when checked in security, because if they check in security, you gain 2 memory. And then on main, all of your opponent's Digimon gain 1 attacking, they lose 2 memory. So pretty much, if you're ready to try to win and then you're trying to stall them out and they're getting ready for their big turn, man, Ice Wall always cripples them and gives you that extra turn to knock them out for game. You know what I'm saying? So Ice Wall, I mean, too bad it's limited to 1, but hey man, any blue deck, Ice Wall's got to be in there, right? And then speaking of cards that always have to be there, we're running 2 Hammer Sparks, because we're trying to really help mitigate the continuous turn, continuous place. And for 0, gain 1, and then when they check in a security, you'll gain 2. So this and this always comes in clutch when it's checked in security and they're at 0, right? Or at 1. It always passes the turn and screws the opponent over, right? And then for some more memory gain, we're doing a search with blue memory boost. I'm running 2 of these. It says reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 blue Digimon from among them, and then place the rest at the bottom. It has on delay. You get to crack it and gain 2. Also, you know what I'm saying? Here we're gaining 3 with this. So, you know, that's always a really good playmaker play to kind of set it up and then get that extra memory. So that's it for our options though. So pretty standard though on this deck. You gotta always have the hammer sparks. You always have to have the memory gain, the memory boost and stuff like that. Let's talk about our tamers though. Another facilitator of the Megadeth. We're running 3 of the Davis and Ken. So at the start of your turn, this says if you have a blue Digimon in play, you gain 1. If you have a green Digimon in play, you gain 1 memory. On your turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with 2 or more colors, you may suspend this tamer to unsuspend that Digimon. So again, this helps greatly to be able to play Megadeth or be able to, you know, have like a Armor Purge Vmon out and then digivolving into a Lydramon, unsuspended, suspending one of your opponent's Magnamons or any blocker if it has it, and then swing for game. You know, again, this right here, these tamers right there, man, they just really help you. And having Lydramon out in your start, let's say you have Lydramon out, and we'll talk about our next tamer, Davis, out, right? Davis starts you off at 3, is your memory setter, and then you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with blue and 1 with green Digimon. So if you're able to sometimes get 2 out of this, which always helps you in the long run, right? So pretty much you start off at 3, you have a Lydramon in raising or out on the field, Davis triggers, and you start off with 5. You know what I mean? What's beautiful about that, if you have double that, you know, I've had plays where I've had 3 Davis and Kens out, so I'm starting my turn automatically with 6 plus 3, you know, we're at 9 here, okay? So always a good one, but yeah, we're running 2 Davises at that. So that's our tamers there. Again, this is a really fun deck. You get to do a lot of rushing shenanigans. You get to digivolve again after purging, things like that. You're really facilitating a rush style and defensive top end as well. You know what I mean? Because even if you rush with this as well and it dies in security, it just pseudo armors, and then you take it to the top of your security stack. So that's it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment below if my ratios are off, if you run different ratios. Let me know what deck profile I should run next. Shout out to the Meta Monster team. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys for helping me play test. Like always, I want you guys to have a good one. X Hunter out. Peace.